Hello?
Hello.
Cool. Okay, you're being recorded just so you know
Cool.
you're not unaware. Let me figure out. I'm just wanting to make sure I have the right view that I want. So I'm just figuring that out now.
Cool. Take your time.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your Painting Brighton project?
Well, I sort of thought of it in January, so not a very long time ago. And I knew that I needed some sort of project to get into because I've been off work for ages with a bad neck / back, which causes me sort of problems with like typing and conventional like office sort of stuff. So I just wanted something to keep me ticking over, and so I just decided that I'd start painting random people that I saw out and about in the street if they were happy to have their photo taken, just for me to like practice effectively.
Yeah.
And that was January, February, and I think I did maybe about 4 or 5 of them, just people I'd taken photos of in the street, and then gave them the paintings. And then after that, the lockdown started, and it just seemed sensible to start doing healthcare workers.
So we actually know each other because I submitted a photo that you painted.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about who I submitted and why you chose them?
Oh yeah, so you sent me a picture of Jamie, and he's the first reason why I looked at your photos was because you sent me a few, which is good, and the light variety of good quality photographs in different lighting, which I don't often get. And there was one which had particularly good lighting. I also liked it because obviously, I don't know how, I wouldn't like to guess how old Jamie is, but obviously he's a junior doctor in working in already in a position of quite high responsibility at a time of crisis. So that's just like, for one thing, it's a good story, and for the second, obviously he really deserves recognition for what he's doing. And in combination with a good photo, it was just an easy decision to do that one.
It's so funny because I think Jamie would say quite the opposite. I think he would say that he's like very humbled and like surprised he got picked, because he's like, well, I'm barely doing anything. Like, I've just started. I'm new at this. So,
well, he's doing more than 99% of people one way or another, isn't he? So
yeah. What did you think of the video I sent back?
I thought it was great. I wasn't expecting it, and I loved how you set him up. You completely stitched him up. So yeah, it really could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Well, I was glad he was happy about it.
I knew he'd be happy. Yeah, I love it. It's good. Babe, let me show you this thing. Here, check it out.
Check it out. Go. Oh shit!
Isn't it so good?
Whoa! That's crazy.
Yeah.
He did it.
I know. What I really like is the eyebrow. I think your eyebrows feel like,
Whoa.
I know, it's so good.
That's insane.
Yeah, he's gonna bring it to us.
What? It's a real thing?
It's a real painting that he did. He just took a picture of it.
Fuck. That's mental. So wait, why is he doing it again?
He's just trying to support like NHS doctors. What? Isn't that nice?
That's crazy.
We should tell him thank you then.
Yeah.
You could tell him now.
Huh?
Thank you.
Such a dickhead. What's his name?
Henry.
Thank you very much, Henry. It's sick. I love it.
It's really cool.
Thank you. It makes me feel great. I've never seen myself.
Isn't it beautiful?
Right,
You look so good.
Such a dick.
I saw. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, his reaction was really funny.
Yeah, his singing was excellent as well.
I know. I know. I actually, when I was editing it with him, I was like, "Oh, I'll cut all this part out," and he was like, "No, you gotta keep that. That's the best part."
I'm glad you kept it in. I mean, I think everyone's like that. Everyone's, when they're sort of at home after a long day or whatever, everyone's just goes a bit mad.
When you first started, what was your goal for the project?
To get better at painting.
Yeah.
To give, to get to know some people. That's something as simple as that. Pass the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Has painting benefited your own mental health?
Yeah, probably. It's the good thing about it is that unlike so many other things these days, is once I find I start on it, it's very difficult to think about anything else. For all the time you're doing painting, you really lock in. You really get in the zone, like you would if you were doing watching a really good film or reading a good book or something, except better than that, because it's like concentration. It's like being in an exam, but you don't hate it.
How long does it take to make a painting, and how much does each painting cost you personally?
Well, I can take as long or as short as I want it to, really. Can do them in in theory I could do them in 4 hours, but realistically most of them take between 5 and 10 probably. But I am deliberately doing them more quickly than I would like to. But it's kind of a bit of a trade-off, because the longer you spend, there's an optimum amount of work to do on a painting before it becomes overworked. So it's very, particularly with my style, which is quite loose, if you do too much, it becomes muddy, messy, or it just loses some of its life from doing too much to it. So yeah, I reckon the sweet spot is normally about 8 hours.
Wow.
Which makes it cheap. But that's only painting. That's not with all the other stuff that you have to do, like mixing the paint and sorting out the images and all that sort of stuff, preparing the canvases, doing the underpainting. That's just
If I had to spend 8 hours on anything for someone else, I don't think I would give it away for free.
Well, that's what I say. I can't do it forever.
Yeah.
But for now I can. And I'm literally not doing anything else.
Yeah.
So if you look around on Instagram or online or anything.
Do you hear it?
Yeah. They're quite loud. They're quite loud on my street. I don't know about yours.
Just started now. Okay.
Yeah. Good timing.
Yeah. When exactly did you decide to shift to NHS and key workers?
I think early January, I was just chatting to some friends in the pub and being a bit morose because I've not really got anything to do while I'm trying to sort out my back and my neck and stuff, doing my physio. And they're like, well, you need some kind of project that's not going to, it's just going to be easy on you, which you can do at your own pace. And they knew that I'd done some paintings before, so they were like, why don't you just do some more paintings? And I thought that's a good idea, but I'm going to need some sort of something to keep me going with it, which is why I started and an Instagram thing.
Yeah.
In order, because that was just to make sure that I had the motivation to keep it up. Because if I'd have just been doing it here and there, I would never have kept it going. Probably wouldn't have had the motivation. But
why do you choose to paint everyday Brighton people or NHS workers and not popular figures like celebrities?
Because celebrity is pretty boring, and I don't know any of them. Yeah, I mean, I paint Brighton people because they're out and about. They're in the street, and more importantly, now they're the ones doing the hard work, not the celebrities. So what I'm trying to say is, broadly, I think that our public services are done a massive and institutional disservice by the current government and former iterations of it. And I think that people who work in jobs where they basically work really hard for other people's benefit and don't get remunerated in the same way that a lot of people I know up in London, for example, do, like working in white collar jobs that are basically completely fucking meaningless. I think that's really unfair, and this is a pretty damning indictment of Britain. I think Britain's particularly bad for that. But and for that reason, I just thought it would be nice. It's my way of showing a small bit of appreciation of the fact that some people will, I think, do a lot and don't get the recognition that they really ought to in one form or other. Like, for example, clapping. That's great, and it's great that everyone cares, but did enough people care before this? Probably not. Part of the motivation for me is to do something nice for people who I don't think, generally haven't been received the recognition or respect that they deserve.
If you can picture an ideal society, who would we celebrate?
Well, it's like I said earlier, it's not necessarily about, I don't think we should need, obviously it's good that we celebrate people who do good things, but my point generally is we shouldn't have to have people like subsisting on like really low wages and thanks and support. We should just pay people in accordance with the value of what they're doing. But we don't live in a world where that's, or certainly not in a country where that's the case, largely. So yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be a case of, we celebrate the people who do good things like we do now, but more importantly, it would be about just ensuring that everyone lives is paid according to the value of what they do, and the value is based in human terms, not in financial, what financial value they're worth. If you look at climate science has been resolved for like 2 decades and nothing has been done. We've known for a decade that the NHS is falling apart as an exaggeration, but being systemically underfunded, did nothing about it. I think it's going to take something more than even this for a real change to happen. I would question whether grassroots things can really, whether small individual things like this on their own are ever going to change anything structural. I think that's got to be like a political thing, which is another story. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do smaller and community-based things, because obviously that's good and it makes people feel good, and it's making a difference into the smaller aspects, the personal aspects of life. And therefore we should do it. But I'm just saying that doesn't necessarily affect systemic change. Or it might, I don't know, but who can say?
Yeah.
But,
yeah. From this project, have you experienced kindness in return from your recipients?
Well, everyone's very thankful, but I've not asked for anything in return. A few people have made donations, apparently, to certain charities, but I haven't asked specifically for anything to go to a particular one. So they said they're just doing. A few people have just said that they're going to do that. But everyone's been really nice, which is good. I've had very few. In fact, no, I've not been to hand over paintings to anyone who's not been really cool. If that's just Brighton or I don't know. Yeah.
Do you think that that's evidence that kindness is contagious?
Yeah, probably is. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably a good way of putting it.